Hello, amazing listeners. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about the complexities of adulthood, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. I am your host, Bukola. You just stumbled on the right podcast. If you're tired of figuring out this adulthood phase all alone, now let's do it together. Hi, friends. Some weeks ago, I made a call to my friend and we were just ranting about our problems. I just suddenly blurted out why are we having adult problems? Then she goes, because we're adults. No, what do you mean we're adults already? Anyways, on this episode, I want us to talk about adult problems. How do they manifest in an adult's life? Before we dive into the conversation of the day, I want to quickly just inform us that currently in Nigeria, there's an ongoing protest, like a 10-day protest against bad governance. And as a Nigerian, whether living in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, I just feel like this is something we all should participate in and just lend our voice to the cause any way we can. You can do it via your text, tweeting, posting online, messages, and just being active, or if you can go to the protest ground physically. I think this is something we need to do. Just lend our voice to it. Let's all come together regardless of our tribal differences, ethnic differences, and just speak against bad governance. We want a better Nigeria. We want a place we can call home without feeling shy about it, without feeling bad about it. We have just one home and we have to fix home. So yeah, that'll be that about that. I wouldn't be going into more details because this is not supposed to be a political podcast. It's supposed to just be our safe space as adults. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing good. I'm fine. I'm just here. I don't know. My week actually did go well. Now let's dive into the conversation of the day. Right before we dive in, let's hear what these amazing people think of the adulthood phase.
Adulthood is responsibility.
Adulthood is complicated.
Adulthood is growth.
Adulthood is maturity.
Adulthood is being independent.
Adulthood is stressful.
Adulthood has been confronting.
Adulthood is draining.
Adulthood is decision making.
Adulthood is resilient.
Adulthood is overwhelming.
Adulthood is fun and adventurous.
Remember, I'm not here to demonize this phase, but to say it as it is. Talking about adult problems, I even think there are a lot of things we can actually classify as adult problems. Adult problems is just a lot because as an adult, you just wake up every day to a new problem. It just feels like something always comes up. You just need to solve something. You need to bring a solution to something. In fact, with each new day comes a new hurdle for you to cross as an adult. The only thing is sometimes the problem can be life-threatening. Sometimes it could be something that is really, really minute and really just unharmful. And sometimes it can be serious. They just vary in the way they come and the way they choose to just play out in our lives. So there are a couple of problems I want to just talk about. I'm just going to be ranting on this episode, basically. First problem is financial problem. I feel like when you start having financial issues, that's when you actually truly realize that you're an adult. Because what is adulthood? What is adulting without financial problems? I think I started working officially and I became totally independent ending of 2020, early 2021. And I just felt like, oh, this is so nice. It's so nice to be independent, to have my own money, make my own money and spend my money. But oh boy, it's more than that. Like the money is just never enough. And one thing about money that I got to understand as an adult is it's actually not easy to give money out. As a kid, I felt really entitled to my parents' money. I just felt like, oh, they were supposed to just give me whenever I asked. Do you understand? But making my own money and being the firstborn and having siblings, it just made me understand that giving money out goes beyond, I don't know, it's just a lot. For someone to just give you money, I think the person is making a sacrifice in one way or the other. And that's another thing again with this adulthood phase. It comes with not having people to give you money because you just feel like you're grown up and you're sorting things out, so you do not need help whatsoever. So now I just want to publicly announce that I know we're independent, we're adults, but if we ever cross your mind, I just feel like, oh, you should bless this person financially, please don't hold back. Don't hesitate. Just send the money. Just let us receive the alert. Sometimes adults wants to be babied. We need it. We need the money. And especially if the adult you're thinking about is the first child, please do not hesitate to bless us. It's a lot. So yeah, aside from the struggles of making money, of getting money and giving money, there's also the problem of spending money. Being financially prudent requires a lot of discipline. You just have to be disciplined. I think yesterday I made a very bad financial choice, and I just had to do it because I didn't see any other way out. I mean bad financial choices, most times we take them to just enjoy life, and sometimes they're just all we need. It was a very necessary decision I had to make. And I remember in December I made an episode on financial difficulties, and I got some advice on how to be better, more prudent, more calculative, or more. I just feel like the solution to this thing is making more money. That takes us to the next problem of adulthood: getting opportunities to make more money. Seriously, I can just keep on going on about financial issues and how complicated they are. 80% of our problems, my statistics is not backed by any research. It's just me doing my thing with numbers. 80% of our problems as adults can be traced back to like a financial root cause. Because most times when I'm sad, or when I'm feeling down, when I'm just thinking about my life, when I think deep, I just realize that I'm actually in my feelings, in my head, and I'm feeling that sad because I just realized that I don't have enough money, or I'm not doing well as I thought I was going to be doing financially. And I feel like if I have this very steady, heavy flow of income, I feel like I'll be happy most of the time, because money indeed buys happiness to an extent. And speaking to my friends, I'm just talking about how the kind of issues my friends go through, adult issues. Most times it stems from money. We can talk about every other thing, but then we just trace it back to maybe we don't have enough money. That's why financial problem is one of the biggest adult problems. So the second adult problem I'm talking about is relationship problems. Oh God, relationship problems can literally destabilize a very stable life. Because from 1 minute of like having this healthy, balanced, in check life, just a little shake can just lead to like a mental breakdown, emotional breakdown. And when I talk about relationship problems, I'm not talking about just romantic relationship problems. I'm talking about family problems. I'm talking about romantic relationship problems. And I'm also talking about friendship problems. I feel like the most chaotic of all three is family problems, because dealing with like relationship problems as an adult, the more intimate the relationship is, the more difficult it is to deal with the problem. So if the problem comes from relationship with family, maybe it's not what it used to be, or maybe it's not peaceful, maybe you just feel like things are not going on well with the family, it can affect every area of an adult's life. Aside from family problems, there's also friendship problems. With adulthood comes this very high level of intentionality with friends, where you have to say the right things, and we just have to always come through for each other. Adult friendships are more complicated, and they can easily go south because it's just a lot. It just requires a lot more. It's not like maybe when we were kids that you can just play and just say things anyhow. You always have to put your friends' emotions into consideration when you're talking to them as an adult. You can't make silly jokes. You have to support each other's hustle, each other's businesses. You have to just be there, basically, and it's just a lot. It's very tasking. Good friendships are something that like we never want to let go of as adults. Romantic relationship problems are very, very annoying. Heartbreaks are terrible, and the fact that as an adult you always have to show up regardless of what you're going through emotionally. You have to make money, you have to pay the bills, you have to just be there for yourself, so it makes handling these issues more complicated. Another thing I really got to realize: time doesn't wait for you. Time runs really fast, runs really quickly, and if you do not stand up for yourself, if you do not show up for yourself, you just be surprised at how time will go by and you'll be there. I have to show up for myself. I have to be there for myself. I have to know that yes, I can feel sad, yes, I can be in my feelings, but I need to learn to pick myself back up quickly. So another adulthood problem that we adults face that I find really, really annoying and complicated is the problem of spirituality. For me, I feel like as kids, being spiritual, being religious was kind of easy because you just tend to follow your parents' belief. You just tend to follow like what you were trained with. But becoming an adult comes with questions. Things you must have naturally just taken in as a kid, now you're asking questions. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Something happened last weekend. I was interacting with a kid. She's just 12 years old. And while we were talking, I was like, oh, so what's your religion? What do you practice? And she goes, she doesn't have a religion. I'm like, okay. She said, yeah, but she prays to God. She acts right, but she doesn't have a religion. And she asked me a question, don't you think I'm too young to have a religion? Like, I don't even understand these things. How do you want to have a religion? Like, she understands that there's a supreme being she needs to communicate with. She understands that she needs to be in her best behavior. But she doesn't really understand the logic behind religious beliefs. And it comes with time. And I feel like she'll make her decision as she gets to grow older. But as an African, or particularly as a Nigerian, your religious belief is mostly determined by the kind of family you come from. So if you come from a Christian family, automatically you have to be a Christian. You have to go to church. You have to be in Sunday school. You have to be a worker. You just have to follow it. Many people don't even understand why they're Christians, or don't even understand why they're Muslims. They just know that they were born into it and they enjoyed it, or they just enjoyed being one and everything. So there's just this phase that comes with growing up where you just realize that, okay, this is something I want to do. Probably this is something I want my family to do. And you need to just ask yourself that question, like, okay, why am I a Christian? Why do I believe in Christ? Why do I do this? Why do I do that? And sometimes you might have some unanswered questions. You might find yourself in places where you feel like you're not supposed to be asking some questions because you're sinning against your belief, or you're coming against your belief or something if you ask those questions. So I think like there's a problem of spirituality. And for me, it's played out in different ways. I'm a Christian, but there are so many times I have so many questions in my head, and I just feel like asking the question would make people think I'm doubting my faith or doubting. So I just keep them to myself. This is also going to be like something for a different episode. So yeah, another problem you have to face is you have to be consciously aware of the things that are going on around you, and that's entails being consciously aware about political events, being consciously aware about economic situation. You can't even skip the economic situation part. Being consciously aware about just things that are going on generally. For instance, talking about the Nigerian protest and what is going on currently. For children, they might not really understand what's happening. They might not even really know why you're coming up or coming out or being on the streets. But as an adult, you already understand. You already have like this awakening. I just feel like this is a time, like, I have to speak up for myself. I have to speak up for my future. I have to speak up for the future of the ones coming behind me. So there's just this sense of, yeah, I think this is it. So as an adult, there's the problem of being aware, and there's also the problem of taking up responsibility of yourself and of the people around you. You just have to constantly, you stop being about yourself and you start being about everything. Like you start being about everyone. So like when you're thinking politically, you're not just thinking about only you. I think Nigerian politicians left the group chats. And what else? There's so many problems, to be honest. Then the last problem I want us to talk about is the social problem. Yes, not having a social life. The other day, I'm and my friend were talking about our lives, and we're like, okay, we see what people are doing with their adulting phase online. When are we going to start going out? And we're like, okay, where do we go to? What do we do? There's this problem of not having a social life. You really want to have a social life, but at the same time, you want to spend limited time outside. You want to have time to yourself. So there's just this problem of balancing. Yes, balancing your social life and your private life. As an introverted adult, your social problems are going to be like 100. For instance, personally, I want to have fun, but my kind of fun is just totally different. So there's this social problem of not feeling totally among and feeling left out sometimes, and just feeling like, oh, you're behind in a way. There's just so many things, but in all, I just feel like an adult's mind is very chaotic. An adult's mind is one that runs on a treadmill. So many things are going on in an adult's mind, and the problems never end. But at the next episode of the podcast, so this is just like a very freestyling episode where I just kind of just ranted about things that I've been going through, because I feel this is like protest week. We don't want distractions, and this is just something you can just listen to very casually. But next episode, I'm just going to reach out to the listeners of the pod and ask them, when it hits them finally, that, oh, I'm now an adult. We're growing in age, but there are some situations or particular things that will happen that will just make you realize that, okay, I'm no longer a kid, I'm not a teen, I'm now a full-blown independent adult. So that's what we'll be talking about on the next episode. We'll just be sharing experiences of the listeners, and if you're a listener already and you kind of like have interest in sharing that experience of when the reality hit you, where you had your reality check, let me know in the comment section. I'll reach out to you on how to get your submission for the episode. So thank you so much for listening. I feel like this episode was really chaotic, but I hope you were able to make something out of the episode. I hope you were able to relate with some of the problems, and you can speak more if I miss something out in the comment section. Catch you on the next episode. Bye bye. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next episode. Do not forget to live every moment and leave no room for regrets. Remember to follow this channel so you get notification whenever I drop a new episode. Thank you. Bye.